Here we are once again. I'm Chris. That's Tyler. Got a lot to unpack today. We've got some big coaching moves. Shedeur made his second start of the season in a game that kind of ended weirdly for the Cleveland Browns. Not weirdly, they got beat again. We've got like the whirlwind of stuff, the fallout from the Michigan-Ohio State game, all that and then some. But I do want to start with something that I'm going to drop another video on at some point because it's one of the more confusing, toxic sagas that we've got going on. Actually, pause that. The first thing we're going to talk about, what's up, dude?
I want to say thank you to everybody for 5,000 subscribers.
That's really
cool.
We're
at 5,600 subscribers, dog.
At the time of this recording, because I got
right now. In this moment right now, at 7:58 p.m. on Monday, December 1st, we have 5,600 subscribers, and it is fucking awesome.
It's really cool. Obviously, like I'm really excited. People know that like I've got a deep reverence for the game of media, and I try to be as hardworking as possible to make sure that I'm polished enough and that like Tyler and I can provide enough for you guys to sit back and enjoy. And Tyler, Ron, Q, they've done a great job, and I'm really excited. And obviously, like building this community together has been my favorite thing. With that being said, a lot of stuff that I feel like we need to dig into, and I'm glad that you hit the timestamp. The Kentucky job opened up, and the reports earlier today where they were between two finalists. Those two finalists moving swiftly. We're going to be Stein, obviously the Oregon OC, and Hartline, the OC and receiver coach for the Ohio State Buckeyes. You called me. You were like, if he goes there, that feels like a terrible move. Thoughts when you heard the news, as it does feel like right now it's trending towards Stein and not Hartline. You're muted.
I'm trying to cover up my cough.
You're good.
I think in the world of college football that we're in right now, I think these young coaches have to be very careful on which job they take first. Because if they go somewhere that they can't, that it's just too big of a hill to climb, you never know when you're going to get your next chance.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a scary thought.
Very scary.
And if I'm Brian Hartline, I think I would rather look at Tulane. I would rather look at North Texas, not North Texas, Tulane, James Madison, like programs in the G5 that are doing it at a high level that have success instead of a bottom feeder of a P4 conference.
Yeah,
because those jobs are dead ends.
Well, not that they're dead ends, because obviously, like, you could do a good job and like go out of there. My bigger thing is like I wouldn't want to go to what we call a punching bag job. If you go to Kentucky, you are going to be a punching bag for a long time, or at least for the first 2 years. And that's going to be quite the adjustment, dog. Like walking in every single day. And the only coaching stop I've made is at Ohio State. I'm used to Ohio State level players, Ohio State level seriousness, Ohio State level infrastructure. And I go to Kentucky and I'm the punching bag week in and week out. That's going to be a lot for someone like that. So no, I agree with you. Not a dead end job. So there's a way up from those jobs.
Well, like what I mean by dead end is like, when have they ever actually had any sort of success?
Yeah. I guess
programs that have been perennial losers is a job. If I'm Brian Hartline, I'm already at a better job. The offensive coordinator, receiver coach at Ohio State is a better job than Kentucky's head coaching job.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you. I think it's dangerous because we can see how guys fall off. I mean, look, Jim Knowles took a lateral move and now his stock has literally never been lower. And can we see how that operates? For me, I agree with you. I think that like if Hartline's going to leave for like a step down job, it needs to be a non-punching bag job. I would also add to it that I think maybe somewhere in the ACC kind of suits him a little bit better. But here's the thing, like the thing for Hartline that I thought would have been in play is a step up job, I guess, right? Or a B job. So I thought that when the big jobs opened up, there would be a class of coaches that take the step up, and then that class they left, that would be a place for Hartline to slide in. Right now, it's we're firing our coach because we're so terrible. We're looking for a coach. I don't think that's a place for Hartline to be. No. I think, honestly, if there was a school that fired their coach that he should slide to or should have looked at, it probably would have been UCLA. Because I think out there in that region, it would have been, still a punching bag job. But I think the jobs that should interest Brian Hartline in the future are going to be, like, here we go. If the Ole Miss job went through a real search, right?
Yeah.
Or like you said, the JMU job, if they go through a real search. Or like
Tulane. Tulane, like... He's close enough to Florida. He's in Louisiana. Like, to me, Tulane feels like a great job for him.
It does. It does. I mean, shoot, like if a guy like Fran Brown would have left to go somewhere, yeah, like Syracuse, like a place that it can be viewed as like the next step up job. But that didn't happen. Like coaches, for whatever reason, did not leave those B tier jobs. I have my own theories on it for some of the quote unquote A tier jobs. Now, I'll add to it even more. There was some smoke with one of Caden Wyatt Dixon, right? About him potentially flipping, and people thought, oh, like that must mean that he's up out of here. And it's like, we'll see. I think that obviously, I think my belief was another move into hire Stein. Is that is that real though? That's what Pete Nakos or whatever.
I think that was what On3 said. Go ahead, keep going. I'll look it up real quick.
My thing is like when I see those two names next to each other, Stein and Hartline, my thought is okay. If they miss on Stein, they want to have Hartline.
Yeah, 56 minutes ago, On3 Sports said Kentucky's hiring Oregon offensive coordinator Will Stein, according to Pete Nakos and Chris Lowe. So it's almost a done deal. It's essentially a done deal.
Well, that's what it is. Well, that's a case of a school doing their search before they fired their coach.
Yeah, and I think Will Stein, if I read it correctly, Will Stein is a Kentucky native. Like he's from there.
I don't know anything about his background, and I shouldn't.
I read that he is from there, so it made sense. But again, like I still wonder. I would say the same thing to Will Stein. Like you're the offensive coordinator at Oregon, and you have complete control because Dan Lanning is a defensive guy. Like, man, I just feel like if you would have waited a little longer, But again, also like Dante Moore is out the door. Dante Moore is 88 out the gate. Like, I don't know.
Well, are you there with him yet? Because I remember I started floating the idea of him leaving, and a lot of people that I talked to on different shows push back at that aggressively.
I don't know. I mean, it seems like it because there's a lot of smoke around him being a top, like in that conversation of like QB 1, 2, or 3.
Tyler, what do I always say? I was never wrong. I was just
early. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it could be. We could all be wrong, and he stays.
Dog. He's up.
But I wouldn't. If I'm him, I'm 88 out the gate.
Look, the way that he's continuing to ascend and Ty Simpson and Mendoza are stuck there at what looks like their college ceiling, and Dante Moore, better athlete, elite ball placement. We've seen it work. Like it feels like he is on the way. Yo.
Yeah, and Oregon's also trending like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
They went into November having to play at Iowa, USC at home, and at Washington 3 games in a row.
Yeah.
And we were like, man, if they can go 2-1, I think they're good. And they went out and handled business.
Big business.
And they beat them all. So
big business.
I think Dante Moore is ascending quickly. And he has the repertoire and the tools. If Oregon can get healthy, because I think Oregon missing out on the Big Ten championship and getting that extra rest is going to be massive for them.
Yeah.
Because nobody should want to play Oregon.
Especially like the healthier they get, the more dangerous they get. They're like one of those teams like Ohio State. They're elitely built and very deep. And their best players, a lot of their key players have been hurt. And those guys are starting to get healthy at the time of the year where their quarterback has finally adjusted to kind of playing with some adversity, playing with some holes in the offensive line. Like we're talking about somebody who's learning to win without kind of the best tools in his toolbox. Oh, and guess what? The tools are on Amazon Prime shipping and they'll be there in 2 days.
Yeah, no doubt.
They're really good. I'm excited for them. So, But anyway, this about Stein, obviously I think he's going to be the next Kentucky coach, but it's only 1 yard line from the sounds of it. So by the time this gets posted, it'll already be announced. Kentucky did their coaching search before they did their firing, similarly to Michigan State.
Yeah, this is an A+ hire. A+, dude.
A+.
I think Pat Fitzgerald and Michigan State feels like, and maybe I'm saying this because Mark D'Antonio had success there, and he was like a boring, kind of like he was a Tressel disciple.
Mm-hmm.
And Pat Fitzgerald is like a younger version of that. And it just feels like Michigan State can be built upon toughness. And I'm excited to see what Pat Fitzgerald is like when he doesn't have any recruiting restrictions because his school is like essentially an Ivy League school.
Yeah, no, this tweet from Garrison summed
I
it
mean,
up.
this is like the exact opposite of
Yeah,
Northwestern.
literally
Think about it.
the Oppo Taco. This is from Garrison. I thought this was a great tweet. Pat Fitzgerald doesn't have academic restrictions anymore. We'll have the donors behind him. We'll have NIL. We'll be at a top 25 program in revenue and has already made $1 out of 2 cents before. This is a great hire.
100%. And if you now have you have an adult in the state of Michigan, and I think Michigan should be way more concerned about what Michigan State just did than I think they might be.
Agreed. Now, look, I'll say this because obviously everyone knows like you're Michigan's biggest hater, so I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Actually, no, I'm not. This is the land of very bad. This is the land of very good. Right now, that's where these schools are at. But they're both trending to the medium right here. And it feels like they're both traveling there potentially pretty fast. I'm not saying I expect Michigan State to be better than Michigan next year or the year after.
Nope, I'm
but
not
I'm
either.
saying that thorn in the side is what they've got the potential to be. And Michigan better not let it get infected. And because that's what we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, if you can't recruit your state as well as you used to, like all of a sudden, if if your culture starts to fracture the way that I think it is right now, all of a sudden that thorn in the side, little infected, little gross, too late to cut it out. And by the time you realize it, oh, that's not a thorn. Pat Fitzgerald shot a poison dart at me from 200 yards away, and now they're here. Things happen in college football so quickly, and he's going to be excited to prove that he can do it in this era. I'm really excited for the Big Ten. I think the Big Ten got a really good coach. I'm shocked that Penn State struck out on everybody in the world that didn't give Pat Fitzgerald a call.
Well, last thing on the Pat Fitzgerald and Sherrone Moore have showed us there's two things be true about them so far as their head coaches. Pat Fitzgerald does more with less, and Sherrone Moore does less with more.
So be careful.
And if Michigan State even messes around and tries to start spending a little bit of money, look out. Look out.
Look out.
And instead of being every third year with Pat Fitzgerald, it's going to be like every other year. And
that's interesting.
We've seen Michigan State be good. We've seen it. It's happened.
Like, they were an 11-1 team before Mel Tucker.
They went to the playoff with Mark D'Antonio.
Yeah, well, that's over a decade ago.
I mean, was it? It was 2015. Ago. So yeah, it's a decade now.
My brother in Christ.
Shit is. Boy, getting old up here, boy.
Yeah, bro. Because look, it's been 10 years since they made the playoffs and 20 years since Troy Smith.
Dog, don't do that.
I'm just saying. Why you do that? But
speaking of Penn State, bro, they are up there swinging for the fences, and they don't care how many times they swing and miss. But boy, does it look bad.
Dude, it looks horrible. Optically, this has got to be awful. Like it feels like every other school. No, maybe not. Like Florida and LSU, they didn't do their coaching search before. No, I mean Florida maybe did, but then LSU kind of surprised everybody. But they didn't do their coaching search before they made their firings. It feels like Penn State made the firing thinking that there's some big bad job, and they're not some big bad job as they told us.
Did you see the tweet from what appears to be the official Twitter account of the athletic director at Penn State?
It's not him, but it's funny.
It fooled a lot of people, dog.
Yeah, dude. A lot of people that I know started following him. Like he was the actual AD, and I'm like looking at some of the follows, and I'm like, oh, he's about to get somebody, and lo and behold, boom, got somebody.
Yeah, you fired your head coach first, and you are still coaching job vacant.
Yeah, this is
not even the right way to say that.
This is when first one in, last one out is a bad thing. Usually it's a good thing. It means you're a hard worker. This is when it's a bad thing.
Well, the new report is that Kalani Sitake is looking to leave BYU to be the Penn State head coach. And I have a strange feeling that when this show comes out, he'll either be staying at he'll either gotten an extension or he will be the new Penn State head coach.
Dog, if he says no, you might as well apply for the Penn State head coaching job.
I mean, if he says no, dog, you just got to circle back with Brian Hartline and be like, yo, I'll take you and your issues, whatever those issues may be.
Yeah, bro. I mean, if he says no, like, good God. If he says no, do you ask Matt Patricia if you want to be a head coach?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. If he says no, I mean, do you ask Brian Daboll again?
Do you ask Jim Knowles?
God,
That would be horrible.
that's the stuff of actual. That's like actual like nightmare fuel. Oh, good God.
If Sataki says no, I'm circling back to Brian Hartline. If he says no, then I think their worst nightmare is actually just taking the interim tag off of Terry Smith.
That
And I don't
also
think they'll
could
do it because of the stunt that he pulled, like you said.
Dude, there's two people in this bar that like might need a place to stay. And like no one's like I said it to Zach, and like everyone's like, no way. But Doug, like Brian Kelly, Jed Fish, those might be the last two people at the bar.
Oof.
Right?
I'd take Jed Fish over Brian Kelly in a heartbeat.
Here's the thing. I don't think Brian Kelly is that bad. I think Brian Kelly's a good football coach that was a horrible fit and has a ridiculous ego at LSU. The thing about Brian Kelly is
Penn State's not an asshole program. He's an asshole, and he doesn't. That Penn State's not that program,
bro. We do not know that. They could absolutely be an asshole program. Bro, he belongs in Big Ten country, doesn't he?
I mean, maybe, but like not there.
Dog, I think that's a fit. I think the bigger issue is why would Brian Kelly ever coach again?
Also true.
Like he's gonna stick it to LSU by making them pay every cent of this.
I don't know. Also, you know what? I'm going to take everything I just said back because James Franklin was also an asshole. He just was like better at hiding it.
Was he? He got in altercations with fans all the time.
That's what I'm saying. But like he got in altercations, but he also comes across as like a square Uncle Tom.
Well, yeah, they both want to be liked. That's the thing. Like Brian Kelly and James Franklin both want to be liked. Brian Kelly built what Penn State has and what I'm sure they would go back to at Notre Dame. Like I'm saying, like
I still would take Jed Fish.
Okay, and that's fair. I think that here's the thing. Of the coaches that are saying no, I think Brian Kelly, it's again, last people at the bar, they might need each other, is more what I'm pointing to.
If I'm Brian Kelly, I don't think I'm coaching for a while.
No. I'm skydiving tomorrow.
I'm going on TV. What you mean?
I'm buying the craziest Ferrari I could find in LSU colors. Thank you, LSU, for the payday. Fuck you mean? If they ever gave Christian a buyout, the world would be a worse place. So we've got Alex Golesh going to Auburn. Love that for him. That's a great fit. I'm excited for him.
Do you think he'll be able to keep DJ Durkin?
I hope so.
Do you think DJ Durkin, if you were DJ Durkin, would you stay? Chris Drew's not staying.
Probably. I mean, I don't know.
You wanted the job.
Yeah, you did.
And you didn't get it. And then the guy that was replacing you is like asking you to stay?
But Fickle wanted the job here.
Yeah, but he played here.
Yeah, I don't know. I could see Durkin staying. I don't know. Durkin's gonna have his suitors, but also like, wait a second, dude. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Durkin will do, but I'm intrigued.
I think Alex Golesh should really want to keep DJ Durkin.
He should absolutely. He should absolutely want to.
And he should want to do close to whatever it takes.
Yeah, and obviously, like that's pretty booster reliant. But I don't want to spend too much time on Golesh. I just like Golesh, Ohio State guy, Trestle Tree. It's cool to see that. It's like the last remaining. Not really. But what else happened in all this? Lane Kiffin released the Lanestein files.
Yeah.
I'll either have a video out by now or a video coming on the Lanestein files. But agrees to LSU, wants to coach the rest of the season with Ole Miss, including the playoffs. LSU says, no, not happening. He says, fine, I'm leaving, and I'm taking the entire offensive coaching staff with me. They say, fine, go. It's like a big, narrative battle. Who's the bad guy? Who's in the right? Who's in the wrong? Ole Miss says, all right, we're going to promote, Pete Golding to not just the interim head coach, the permanent head coach with signing day right around the corner. We're going to try to keep this roster intact. Lane Kiffin's off to LSU with not a lot of nice things to say. And here we have it. LSU has a new coach. Ole Miss has a new coach. Florida has a new coach. Auburn has a new coach, and all this mix. Lane Kiffin's been a part of now at least 4 really bad breakups and a couple of really bad situations. He is the toxic one, but he's a damn good coach. And so teams are going to put up with this. He has an elevator clause in his contract to be the highest paid coach in the sport, paid by LSU if he does end up winning a national title. And also, I believe I read that LSU is going to continue to pay his bonuses for the success that Ole Miss has because Ole Miss built them. This was a mess, and I can't believe it's over, but here we are.
I've been going back and forth on this for a couple of days. I'm like, who's the bad guy? Who's the good guy? Blah, 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 blah. And I think I've come to the conclusion that everybody's opinion and their actions are fine. Lane Kiffin, in his heart of hearts, his actions show that he believes that LSU gives him a better chance to win a national title than Ole Miss.
Bingo.
Fair or foul?
I think it's foul.
You think it's foul?
I only think it's foul because Ole Miss is on the doorstep this year.
But are they?
Yes.
Do you think they're capable of winning the whole thing this year? I don't. And I think Lane knows it.
I want to say no, but then I think about I didn't think Notre Dame was capable of winning the whole thing last year, and they ended up making it to the Natty. The draw matters so much.
The draw matters. Ohio State's better. Indiana's better. Georgia's better. Oregon's better. Notre Dame's better.
Yeah, I mean
that's 6. They're the 6th best team.
I do think they could beat Notre Dame.
They could beat Notre Dame, but they're not beating the other ones.
Yeah, but here's the other side of it is the way the draw works, bro. It gets funky and weird, right?
I get it. I don't think it's going to be funky and weird though, because the 4 best teams are going to get the bye. Okay. So either way, they got to beat one of the 4 best teams in the country.
Yeah, no,
they're not at.
I hear you. But also this Ole Miss team would be better than any LSU team Brian Kelly put together. And I think that's
sure, maybe. But I think Lane can be a fit in LSU.
Yeah, I
more than Brian Kelly.
I think he had a better shot to win a title this year at Ole Miss than he will have the next 2 years at LSU, I guess.
Maybe 2 years, but give him 3 to 5. I think he's going to be there.
Yeah,
and Ed Orgeron won a national title there.
No. I know. I think college football is a lot different now, though. But yeah,
sure.
I hear you on that. I guess for me, I think Lane Kiffin is in the wrong and lacks self-awareness for wanting to coach the rest of the year after accepting the LSU job. And
so that's where I wanted to get to. So I think if he feels that he can win it better at LSU, fair. I'm not going to argue with him because that's how he feels. But I also think it's very fair that the president and AD at Ole Miss said, you don't get to have your cake and eat it too. I'm not giving you 4 weeks, 3 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
3 weeks to not only coach a team that you chose that you didn't want to be at, but also to talk to those kids to have them come to LSU, talk to these coaches to have them come. I'm not doing that. So I think it's all fair. I think it's all within the rules of the game. I don't blame the Ole Miss administration for what they did either.
No, because what Lane Kiffin's going to would have been doing is recruiting the high school kids committed to Ole Miss, recruiting them to LSU.
Yeah.
Also trying to keep the LSU kids committed to LSU, and also recruiting his roster to go with him to LSU. The longer he stayed there, the more he would have gutted Ole Miss.
Absolutely. And I'm not here to say that Lane Kiffin is a good guy. I'm not saying that. I'm saying in this scenario, I think he did what he felt was best, and I'm okay with it. But if he would have got to stay there and coach, he's absolutely gutting that program.
In his interest, I think
it would be worse than what Jim Harbaugh did when he left Michigan to go to the Chargers.
100%. And it would have been not for the love of Ole Miss. It would have been to be a master manipulator and completely pull the heart out of that program. Correct. And go with him to LSU because he needs quick success. Now, Pete Golding, cool hire, scary hire. Curious to see what the committee does. I don't know if you have any comments on that.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Because
there's no data point.
There's no data. There's nothing we can look back to. Jordan Travis broke his leg at Florida State. They were undefeated ACC champ. They left him out.
Well, also, but do you remember what we had after that, right? Like, it wasn't just Jordan Travis. Like, they didn't move after the Jordan Travis injury.
They got to play and they won the games. They were 13-0, but they didn't have their quarterback and they looked like ass.
Well, the next week it was Tate Rodemaker.
Yep.
He got hurt, so they were on their third string quarterback, and
Right.
Brock Glenn, deep cut, former Ohio State commit, actually played in the game, and they could not throw a pass more than 3 yards on the field. There's no data point with Ole Miss.
No, I don't know. I have not a clue, and I'm trying to pride myself on having like a lot of playoff talk knowledge, and I have not a clue on what the committee is going to do with him. To be honest with you, I think they're going to have to just leave him as is. But, if they were to move them down but still give them a playoff berth, I think that would be fair.
Yeah, go prove it.
But I have no idea, man. And Pete, and I think Pete was going to be a head coach at some point. I think this is a much earlier time than he thought. And I think this was also a bit of a panic move by Ole Miss, for sure. Especially to give him the permanent job. Like, you didn't even give him the interim. You're like, you're the guy.
You know what it is? You know what it is? You won a natty at Bama. You were there as the DC for a while. You followed up Kirby. We trust you. We've seen you in the room with a lot of other guys. Things didn't go the way you wanted to at Bama. If we're going to keep continuity and keep someone in the building that knows these kids and has a chance to retain any part of this roster, we need someone who can be the heartbeat. And there were times where he was the heartbeat at Bama. There was a lot of people who believed that, he was being groomed to be the next head coach at Bama. Obviously, things went off the rails, but they had to make this decision. They couldn't do a coaching search because, Tyler, what could they not afford to do? They couldn't afford to be Penn State. No, and the way to circumvent they put all their chips in the Lane Kiffin thing, and I'm sure that during the Lane Kiffin saga, they had their plan in place. You are the head coach in waiting. You're 41 years old. Let's do it. Yeah. And
I don't think it was the wrong pick. I don't think it was the wrong decision. It's just oh boy, hope this works out kind of decision.
Yeah.
And just so everybody knows, LSU will travel to Oxford, Mississippi next year and play a game.
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool.
My God.
Yeah.
That is going to be hostile.
Hostility, man.
Oh, woo, boy.
Just defensive heartbeat is kind of what they're going for. It's funny. People don't ever talk about Pete Golding, like that 2020 Bama team. That was him.
Yeah.
People only want to talk about Sark.
Sark and his whiny ass.
Yeah. I guess maybe I want to save Sark talk for later on. Do you want to talk about the whole Michigan thing?
Yeah.
Because people are making statements today. Sam Webb, who is not very credible, but he made a statement that that rumor is not true, is false. But a lot of people are talking. I guess it's being used in recruiting that Sharon Moore may or may not cheat on his wife. I guess. I actually don't want to touch it. I don't want to touch it today.
That's fine. I don't think we know enough about it.
No, but it is a wild thing going on right now.
I hope Michigan keeps Sharon Moore.
Same.
For as long as he wants to be there. Because what he did to Bryce Underwood, I actually went back and watched Bryce's high school highlights. Brother, he's worse now than he was in high school.
Dude, Michigan fans are mad at me because he stinks, dude. He is a good athlete. He's a really fantastic athlete playing quarterback. He's not a good quarterback playing quarterback. His head coach scared him, told him don't get hurt, took the energizer out of his run game, refused to run him entirely. He's got a 3-quarter slot. He throws like he's playing shortstop, and he's got the ego and temperament of a wide receiver, and he's a me guy in a we game, and also like he's so anti the Michigan culture. I can't believe they paid him $12 million. That would be like, dog, that would be like me spending $12 million for the world's for a diamond encrusted machete.
Yeah.
What am I going to do with that, Tyler? What am I going to do with the diamond encrusted machete? Right?
Oh, man.
Like, our identity is run the ball, right?
Yeah, they they should honestly, they should have went back and watched tape of Denard Robinson. That's who he should have been this year.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, he was, I don't even know what to say.
They simped for a quarterback they didn't have the facilities for, and that quarterback can. Well, here's the thing: that quarterback, fuck, dude. This is where I'm at. That quarterback might not be able to leave them because what do you think his market value is now?
Half of what he is at the very best, half of what he's getting paid.
So they're stuck with him paying, and this is why I really like what Ryan Day and Ross Bjork have done. I'm Team Ross Bjork. It's like, you want kids who want to be here for the right reasons, not the kids that want to be here for the money. Bryce Underwood is going to end up being the prime example of someone who wanted to be there for the money. And because of that, you get someone who's not bought in, who's not good for the culture, who's a me guy, and doesn't also fit schematically with us. Like, here we go. I'm a firm believer that your head coach and quarterback's personalities have to be able to work together along with their play style. Does Sharon Moore, Chip Lindsey, and Bryce Underwood, do they match up in any way? No, they speak 3 different languages when it comes to football, when it comes to life, when it comes to stardom. Bryce Underwood's a fit at Ole Miss when they had Lane Kiffin. Bryce Underwood's a fit at LSU. Bryce Underwood's probably a fit at Oregon. Where he's not a fit at is the blue collar jacket place. And they made him the highest paid freshman of all time. It's idiotic. It is 10 times worse than Nico. Because at least Nico schematically and Nico talent-wise and also stardom matched up with what Tennessee was doing. It's a disaster, bro. It's a disaster.
There was never a reality where he was just going to be okay. Like he was going to be an okay college quarterback. When they gave him that much money, he was either going to be a superstar or a total bust.
Yeah.
There was never a reality where he was just going to be an okay college quarterback. That was never going to happen. And anybody that didn't see this coming, any Michigan fan didn't see this coming, chose to not see it coming. Because, like, when they had a first-round quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, 5-star quarterback, gets drafted in the first round because he won a national title. And now look at him. He's not even in the top 30 in the NFL.
Mm-mm.
And like that's who they have. That's the development story that Michigan sold to Bryce Underwood. And as a Michigan fan, if you didn't see that, you chose not to.
Yep.
Period. Point blank.
That's your bag, cuz.
That's not a me problem, dog. That's a you problem.
Not a me problem at all.
And for Bryce Underwood, it just shows like everybody has a price. And also whoever was in his camp was not in the best interest of that kid at all.
Short-term interest, not the long-term. It's bad.
So it's tough. Their schedule next year also kind of sucks. Like it's tough.
And the thing is, it's an average Big Ten schedule, but it sucks if you don't have a quarterback, and that's what we're talking about here.
And I don't think they're going to go to the playoffs next year either, man. I think they're an 8-4, 9. They're exactly who they are.
Yeah.
This is who I remember at the beginning of the year, and I came out and I said, Ryan Day, we put out a clip, and I said, Ryan Day needs to send them back to who they've always been, which is a 9-3 program that has a ceiling of 10-2. And now they're going back to reality. This is who they are. This is who they've always been. And it took them to have the biggest cheating scandal of all time to get above that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Nobody's gonna feel fucking bad for him because I sure as hell don't,
No,
and I'm
no
never
one,
going to.
no one's
You'll
going to feel
never see me apologizing for making this rivalry one-sided once again.
It's real. That is a very speedy college football wrap. We covered just about everything. The show, we've done a good job with no fluff. While you're here, make sure you like and subscribe. Want to pivot? Want to talk Browns?
Well, I do want to bring up 2 questions on the playoff before the
Got it.
committee comes out. What are they going to do with BYU and Alabama if they lose the conference title games, which I think they will? BYU will be 11-2 with both of their losses coming to Texas Tech. The first one was not particularly close. I don't anticipate the second one being much closer. And Bama will lose to Georgia. They'll be 10-3. Then you also have 10-2 Miami, 10-2 Notre Dame, and you'll also have 9-3 Texas, which, you know what? Scrap it. I don't even want to talk about them. They're out. I'm done with that. I'm done talking about Texas. You'll have those 4 teams. What for essentially 2 spots. Can the committee hold up to the end of the bargain and say if you make your conference championship game, you're in?
Well, do they have they told themselves that wasn't the case this year?
Correct, because BYU is still not in the top 10, which is where they have to be.
They told us that they'll punish teams for losing their conference title game.
But will they kick Alabama out of the playoff? Would you kick him out?
I don't think I would.
You don't think you would?
No. Unless there was an obvious Big Ten team to slide in there.
Well, the other team is Notre Dame. And Notre Dame's technically in right now. But like the conversation then becomes, so technically BYU's out. Also, side note, the ACC doomsday theory is here.
Yeah,
it's
very
here,
close.
bro.
Yeah, it's here.
Can you imagine how mad the SEC will be if their 2 teams get left out because James Madison and Tulane get in?
That would be brutal.
Anyways, I just wonder, like, I want to know what they're gonna like. I Notre Dame's technically in, and Alabama's in as of right now. BYU and Miami would be the first 2 teams out. Would you take BYU out if they lose? Would you keep them out?
Yes, I would.
Okay. Would you knock Bama out?
No, I wouldn't.
So you think Miami cannot jump in? Because that would be it. Miami jumping in instead of for Bama.
I mean, honestly, the committee could do themselves a favor by dropping Bama out and saying you had a chance this was your playoff. You had a chance. We're going to give Miami the next crack at it. That way we avoid the Miami Notre Dame discourse.
But then there's a new discourse that takes its place. And you know the SEC propaganda will be like, well, what was the fucking point of the SEC conference championship game?
Well, that was your playoff game.
I don't. Yeah. I could see a world. I could get behind essentially any of these things happening.
Yeah, no, that's your playoff game, and the reason it was a playoff game is because you lost to Oklahoma. So, and you lost to Florida State. Like we're giving you a shot at the playoff game. Here's your playoff game. I mean, if you don't lose to Florida State, we avoid this being a playoff game. So I think honestly, the committee on Tuesday said, "Hey, look, this is a playoff game for Alabama." Period.
Well, then what you do if you're the committee and telling them that this is the playoff game, you rank them 11th out.
Yeah. Well, I just think
I just don't think they will do that though.
And then like you get Kirby Smart with the chance to land DeBoer season. That'd be awesome. Because if Kirby loses again, holy shit.
Yeah, if Georgia loses to Alabama again, wowie.
That would blow.
And I'm not ready to pick. I'm not sitting here saying I think Alabama's going to lose. I'm saying if they do lose, what do they do with them?
Yeah.
And I'll be fascinated to see where Miami creeps up to and how they manage all of that situation. Because, like, my point on Miami is there's a 7-5 football team playing in your conference championship, and you're not one of them. So, my concern, I don't feel bad for you at all. I don't.
True. I do want to. Do you have one more question? Or do you want to flip to NFL?
No, I'm good. We can flip to the Browns.
All right, dude, your brownies, your brownies, your brownies. They fell to the 49ers. Honestly, like, I I don't know, man. Shedeur can start. You don't want to win this game. Obviously, the big talk is special teams blunders, the worst special teams games they played in maybe ever. And when that happens, who do you blame? That's like almost directly on the coaching staff. It's now like a poor coach team and a talent lack team on offense. And then the big story, obviously, is the way that Jeudy was yelling at Shedeur Sanders. I don't know where you're at with it. Jerry's got to get a grip.
Jerry's got to get a grip. And I also think that Jeudy is, I'm sure, very frustrated with how the season has gone because, like, he's useless.
I was about to say, like, wait a second, like he could be frustrated with how the season goes, but at some point in your receiver ethos, you have to let go of the I'm a budding star and go to the let me try to help my quarterback, because for me to even be on this team moving forward, like if I'm a security blanket for him, that'll work out. The demonstrative like act, the yelling at him when I've been a massive disappointment, not just for this year, but for my entire career, and also this season, I believe I lead the division in drops. Like, get a grip. Like, you had a drop in this game. Like, Jerry Jeudy acting this way on the sideline. You know who gets to act like that way on the sideline? Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Jack Smith and Jigba, Malik Neighbors. Those guys get to act like that on the sidelines. They're younger receivers who are peak of powers. Right now, your peak of powers, like, here we go, on a playoff team, on a good team, your wide receiver 3 or 2 at the very, very best. You were supposed to be a security blanket. You've been a disappointment. Do not yell at your quarterback like that. Do not make an example when you know that the biggest celebrity on your team is Shedeur, and you know this will draw all kinds of attention and become a huge point of distraction. This is a terrible veteran move by Jerry Jeudy and a terrible teammate move by him, in my opinion. And hell, what happened to guiding young quarterbacks? Like here we go. When do you ever see that? When it's a experienced receiver and a young quarterback.
Odell and Baker Mayfield.
You did not see that with Baker Mayfield when he was a rookie. Are you kidding me? No. As a rookie, you never saw that. That is not true.
Okay.
No rookie quarterback since I've been covering the sport has gotten yelled at on the sideline like that. You get yelled at year 2, year 3, but your second start? No.
Yeah, that is early. No, I mean, Jerry Jeudy's in the wrong for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say no rookie quarterback.
No, I'm not saying that he deserved that he was right to do that. I'm just like I'm sure he's frustrated. And I'm sure
if Shedeur missed the fuck out of you. You don't do that.
No, of course. I mean, yeah, absolutely not. I mean, it's just one of those things where you can't do that. All I was saying was that I'm sure he's frustrated with how it's gone and how he's performed. And I'm like, I want to imagine that he's somewhat of a competitor and disappointed with how he's performed. And it's just kind of coming out, and he's wrong for it.
And here's the thing. I wouldn't even give him that much flack. Because what if roles were reversed? Like, what if Shedeur went and dog cussed him after the drop?
Well, bet you a lot of Cleveland fans would probably like Shedeur a lot more.
Well,
finally, somebody there sticking up and wants to win.
Well, no, the overwhelming thing would be, who the fuck does he think he is? That would be the overwhelming narrative about it.
Who the fuck is Jerry Jeudy's? You ass, dog.
No, I'm just saying, like, if Shedeur would have done this, it would have been so I'm proud of Shedeur for standing up.
Either way, I mean, the problem is like the conditions were miserable.
Mm-hmm.
It was not a good day to throw the football in Cleveland whatsoever. And you're correct. It's talent deficient and bad coaching. This is what it looks like. This is
special teams and penalties are all on coaching.
Yeah, well, I will say the special teams coach, like, it's not his fault when the punt returner just absolutely just like hits the ball, hit his chest, and bounces off.
That shit was funny. What was he doing?
Like, I'm not going to blame the coaching on like a player, the punt returner standing under the ball and just flat dropping it. Like, I can't. That's a talent deficient. That's just a bad player.
Fair.
But like this is what it is, man. Like, San Francisco has talented players. They're good players. There are legitimate all-pro, Pro Bowl level players on the 49ers. And we have one of those guys.
Yeah.
They have like 7 of them.
They're a good team.
And they're like, this isn't a game we're supposed to win. But like, it doesn't need to look this bad, though. Like, I'm sorry, man. Like, I keep saying, and I feel like a broken record, but like, they need to restart. They just need to blow it all up, man. This shit is not working.
Yeah, but
I
it's
don't.
good. Like you. I mean, this loss is gonna. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just another example. Like I knew they were going to lose because the 49ers are better than them, and it's just like, okay, yeah, this is what we're going to keep doing this. Like I don't want to keep doing this.
Yeah. The weird thing though is to get blown out when the opposing quarterback only throws for 160 yards.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things, man, where they just aren't very good. They don't play winning football. They don't do the little things well to that can keep them in the games.
Mm-mm.
And so what are we doing? Like Kevin Stefanski looks uninterested. I'm sure doesn't want to be there. And Andrew Berry is doing nothing. He's not proving to me that he can answer the bell when it comes time to like evaluate the positions that really fucking matter.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but drafting a tight end and drafting running backs and drafting linebackers is a luxury spot to be in. Those players do not affect winning at the highest level. It's not their fault. It's just the position that they play.
Yeah. Tackle quarterback.
Quarterback, left tackle, receiver, pass rusher.
Well, I think receivers also slightly a position of luxury as well.
But you got to have one of them. You have to.
Yeah.
You got to have one of them.
Yeah.
And we haven't had one of them in so long, dude. Long.
I think receiver is an accessory. I think the core is.
I think you gotta. I think it's necessary. You have to have one of them. All the good teams have a guy.
I mean, do they?
Yes.
Who's the number one in Buffalo?
Well, you also have a generational quarterback.
Okay, who's the number one with the Chargers? So it's like you don't have to have one because if you find the franchise quarterback, you can make a two serviceable. Is the point of that? There's too many good quarter like the franchise quarterbacks are making it work without the elite number one. Like the Patriots for all those years didn't really have a true number one. I mean, the Saints didn't really have a true number one.
They had Rob Gronkowski and Julian Edelman, Wes Welker.
Yeah, think about
they had guys that impacted winning.
Okay, Tyler.
Right? Rob Gronkowski is one of the greatest tight ends of all time.
Rob is right, but we're talking about you said tight end was a luxury position. So look, we're talking about receivers. Which one of those two receivers was the number one that you just mentioned?
I mean, Julian Edelman wasn't number one. He's also had Randy Moss.
Here we go. Randy Moss. Did Randy Moss win a Super Bowl?
You love to bring that up, don't you?
No, I'm just saying. Like here we go. Like let's talk about it. Like here we go. Oh, 5-5. We'll go a step further. Did Randy Moss or Wes Welker win a Super Bowl? No. And why was Edelman a number one on that team? Was he number one because he was actually a wide receiver one in the NFL, or was he a number one because of Tom Brady?
That's
Brandon
fair.
Cooks, was he actually a number one in New Orleans, or was he a number one because of Drew Brees?
Was Michael Thomas not a number one?
I mean, he was, but how short was the Michael Thomas experience? Like, Drew Brees played 3 times the length of Michael Thomas.
Okay. I mean, as I'm looking at the standings right now, you make a good point.
Yes, it's wide receiver is an accessory position, but the engine is quarterback, offensive line, defensive line.
Okay.
Check out. Only because I've done this study before. I mean, shit, like we've seen guys do it with nothing.
Who would you say your top 5 receivers in the game right now?
JSN is 1.
So JSN is in Seattle. They are 9-3.
Jamar Chase is 2.
Jamar Chase, they're in Cincinnati. They are 4-8.
I think CeeDee Lamb is 3, but I know Pickens has been the one for them.
So Dallas is 6-5-1. Okay.
I mean, I love Garrett.
I'm not going to hold you to this. I'm making this as like off the cuff.
Okay, like I value Garrett the receiver, but he's probably not. I mean, Puka Nacua.
Okay, they're 9-3.
So I mean, outside of that, kind of dealer's choice.
Would you say Stephon Diggs is still a legitimate number 1 receiver in the NFL or no?
No.
Okay.
I'm on Raw.
Okay, so Detroit is 7-5. I don't even know who Chicago is. Roman Dunze doing well in Chicago?
No, he's outside the top 25 in receiving yards.
Green Bay.
You said what?
Green Bay is they don't.
I mean,
I
Emeka.
don't-
You know, Trey McBride is number 6 in the league in receiving yards. It's wild.
Yeah, I mean, you make a good point. I stand corrected. I mean, that's a good point that you're.
Well, because the right quarterback will make a 2-1.
Yeah.
Like, really, here's the thing. If wide receiver becomes a necessity if your quarterback is a C- quarterback, right? Like, it's important for Atlanta to have Drake London operating like a 1 right now because they don't have elite franchise quarterback. They're still trying to figure it out. Like, it's important for Jamar Chase, keeps Cincinnati at least afloat while Joe is gone. Like, obviously, like George Pickens. Yeah. So I don't know. That's just my little separate side point. But the Browns are the Browns, and I'm excited. Honestly, like this offseason, I think we're going to focus a lot on who they should draft because I do value like Tyler McCormick, the GM, a good amount.
Yeah, I just I really question what the plan was. Everybody's like, well, this draft is for when they get their essential positions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, isn't that always the goal? I mean, he legitimately ignored the offensive line this past draft. Ignored it. Did not answer any of the questions. And now look what we have running out there.
Yeah.
Me. I'm not even going to say you because you're just not as big as me. I'm a big boy. They'll put me out there.
Yeah,
But like, dude, I just don't believe I don't believe that Andrew Berry can evaluate quarterbacks. I don't believe he can. I know he can evaluate wide receivers. And I don't think he can make the right decisions.
Yeah.
And I also believe that I believe that the GM job of the Browns is an attractive job. They have draft capital. They do have to deal with 1 year of cap hell. They will have to deal with next year of cap hell. I get it. 1 year of dealing with Deshaun Watson's $80 fucking million. But they have there are a lot of it's an empty canvas. And you got a beautiful piece of that canvas, that painting just right there in Myles Garrett, the best defensive player in football. And you have him for the end of his career, and you got 2 more seasons of probably prime Myles Garrett.
Such a waste.
It is such a waste, but you can find a better GM is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
And if you're not willing, if Jimmy Haslam's not willing to try to make the upgrade, then all it is that all he gives a shit about is this new stadium.
And which I think is the case right now. They're going to hit the reset and everything else once that gets done.
But I think they should use the time where they're not in the dome to get the roster ready. So when they do go to the dome, it's all cylinders go.
All set to jet.
Yeah. Why waste time? Don't waste these 2-3 years. You get 2026, 2027. Don't waste it just because you're trying to get ready for the dome. Use this time and go hire a new GM and give him the reins to go hire his coach. I do want to bring this up. A Cleveland sports show said, if the Steelers fired Mike Tomlin, would you as a Browns fan, would you want Mike Tomlin?
Yes.
Immediately.
Right now.
Without even hesitation.
I'll drive to Pittsburgh to go pick him up.
I'll even make him the president of football operations.
Of the city.
Yeah.
He could be the new president of Cleveland.
Give him a GM, but as far as to run the scouting, but and in the financial aspects of it, but give Mike Tomlin the keys.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's what this team needs. This team needs a tough guy because it's a tough city. It's just the way that it is. Kevin Skizzy just doesn't fit the city, man.
Mm-hmm.
he feels like a guy. Kevin Stefanski is like a guy who is like an accountant that's really successful that lives in the suburbs in a really nice house, but lives a normal ass life. He's not a tough guy.
Yeah.
And that's what they need. So, you know, yeah, it's all, you know, they did their job.
They did their job. I'm doing my part.
Yes.
I've got nothing else left I want to hit, bro. I want you to get in bed and get some rest. You're battling a cold a little bit.
Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm thugging it out, trying to get the content out there because we're on fire right now, and I'm gonna put out a rewatch of last year's Ohio State Indiana game. I'm gonna try to do each opponent that they play the rest of the year. I'll go back and pick a game to rewatch. You guys seem to like those.
Yeah, no, this is your niche, man. I support it. Go do it.
So try to get that done at some point. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe. It's going well.
It's going
we
well.
like it. Thank you so much.
I'm Chris. That's Tyler.
Peace.